Good morning. It is important that you showed up this morning. Gathering together in community is an act of rebellion against isolation and hopelessness. And what do we say?
We are rebels for hope.
Now let's all take a moment to breathe together and settle into this time of worship. Will you please join in singing hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, in whatever way you are comfortable.
This is a round, and I know that we have a small number of us today, but I think we can still do it as a round. To make it the easiest to break up into the groups, if your birthday is January, February, or March, you're in group 1. April, May, June, you're in group 2. July, August, September, group 3. October, November, December, group 4. We'll sing it all through once, and then we'll break out into the parts and sing it twice in the round. I believe in you. We've done this song many a time.
Unitarian Universalism is a faith that is spiritually alive, values-centered, and radically inclusive. We begin each service by kindling a flaming chalice. Those who came before us lit this flame as a beacon of welcome to those in need of a place of sanctuary and belonging, and we strive to continue that legacy here today. In the words of the poet Annie Dillard, we are here to witness creation and abet it. We are here to notice each thing so each thing gets noticed. Together we notice not only each mountain shadow and each stone on the beach, but especially we notice the beautiful faces and complex natures of each other. We are here to bring to consciousness the beauty and power that are around us, and to praise the people who are here with us. We witness our generation and our times. We watch the weather. Otherwise, creation would be playing to an empty house. You can find ways that our community works for love and justice on the back of your order of service. Some of the highlights: we're going to be providing time for parents to connect and unplug with Parent Night on October 1st at Northwest. Teens will have the chance to connect and unplug on Teen Night, October 4th at Birmingham Unitarian Church. Can't get that name out. We are organizing time to revel in the wonders of nature with a trip to the apple orchard after our October 5th service. We're creating space for ritual and sacred things while we boil water from our water communion on October 6th. And we are now providing space every Saturday morning for parents to drop off their children at Northwest for childcare. As always, there are more details on the back of your order of service.
Diana, those are great things to know. But the most important thing to know is that no matter who you are,
what you believe or who you love,
where you're from or what identities you hold,
with all of your joy and gifts,
with all of your pain and history,
you are welcome here and wanted here.
come,
Let us worship together.
And let us enter into a time of respite outside the demands of daily life. I invite you to stay seated and center yourself into the spirit with the power of music. It's time for the story for all ages. I'll invite any young folks who want to join us at the front of the sanctuary, join us up on the chancel. This is the time for you, and I'll be inviting Jim and Jan to join us up here as well.
We're going to do joys and sorrows for the children. If you guys have anything you want to share with the group right now. So both of our children are choosing to hold it in their own hearts this morning. So this story, yes, ma'am. You have a joy. Well,
After church, my friend's coming over.
so this story, I know both of the people that wrote this, but the one I know the best is Ken Sawyer. He's actually a teacher at the McCormick Seminary in Chicago, and he's a Christian, but he teaches all the Unitarian Universalist students about church history and stuff. So I took courses from him, and we really were good friends. He gave me a little miniature Jesus to take home, and it was really neat to see his name in our order of service. The big thing that Ken always said, he loved Unitarian Universalist students because we actually read the Bible.
Enjoyed reading this book about God, and I'd love to be able to read the whole thing to you, but it's a little long. So some of it I'm going to tell in my own way, and some of it I'm going to read what is written. And I thought when I was thinking about doing this, I thought, well, in a way that's what we all do about God here, isn't it? Or belief or non-belief or whatever belief, because we do it in our own way, in our own words. And I love that you can do that as a child, and you can do that your whole life. You can think for yourself and believe what feels true in your heart. So when this story starts, there's a beautiful picture of a Ferris wheel. You might say, well, what does a Ferris wheel have to do with God? Well, this story starts with 3 children and 1 mom going to a fair. And right before they went to a fair, they had gone to church. And in their RE class, they had talked about people's beliefs regarding God. And so these 3 children were sitting eating lunch before going on the rides, and one of them said, well, we talked about God today. And one of the children's names was Toby. And Toby said, I really believe in God. I believe that God hears me, God listens to me, God hears my prayers, and I feel him in my heart. There was another child, and her name was Alice. And Alice said, well, I kind of believe in God, but not that way. The way I believe in God is that God is like the spirit that moves us, that moves all things towards love and towards goodness and towards justice. And there was a third child, and his name was Ryan. And Ryan said, you know what? I don't believe in God at all. And Ryan's mom was there, and she listened to all the kids talk, and she said, that's good you're thinking about this. It's up to you. So after their lunch and they had that story, they went on the Ferris wheel. Who's been on a Ferris wheel here? Okay, they're fun. Okay, and the 3 kids, with different beliefs in God, got on the Ferris wheel with kind of different ideas about this. And Alice was one of those kids that, oh, yeah. And she got on that Ferris wheel, and the first thing she did was starting to rock that car, And Toby's like, oh, whatever. And Ryan's like, oh, I don't want her to do that when that thing's up in the air. But she did. Anyway, so the Ferris wheel, they got on, they were sitting together in the same, seat. And the Ferris wheel goes up, and it's up in the air, and it comes down, and it goes up again, and Alice is rocking the seat, and Ryan's going, oh, and it goes up again, and it comes down, and it goes up again, and it stops, and it doesn't move, and everybody's a little freaked out, like, what's going on? So how do the 3 kids act and think? Like Toby's going, I'm going to pray now, and God will help us get down. And he said that. He thought that, and he said that. And Alice said, look at those guys down there. Look at those people down there. I see people in hard hats, and I see people in vests, and they've got their clipboards, and they've got their phones. And she said, God is not going to help you down from here. Those people that know what's going on with this machine, they're going to help us down. And Ryan just said, well, I'm kind of freaked out, but I'm really glad I'm not here alone, that I've got my friends with me, and they're supporting me, and I feel better. So the Ferris wheel was repaired. They all came down from the Ferris wheel, and they had a really good time. But that kind of shows you that there's different ways you can be, and you can think about that, and you can choose. And there's even more ways than that. But people that have questions about God ask a great many questions, and there's questions and answers about God. And I'm just going to read you some of the chapter headings. And so for people that believe in God might say, well, what is God? People questioning might say, is God real? People might say, do I have to believe in God? What does God look like? Does God get angry? Does God love me no matter what I do? Can God make stuff happen? Is God in charge of me? Is God watching me? Can I talk to God? So whether you use the word God or not, what's important is that you are a loving person who makes the world a better place. Now there's a couple of other parts, and I'm going to kind of, I think I'm going to read these because these are so good. It's 3 things in this section, which is would you call that God? Here's something that some people, especially Unitarians, I think, are comfortable with, or at least they kind of like the idea. It's called the oneness of everything. And would you call that God? Okay. And here's somebody looking at the stars. The sand was warm from the day in the hot sun. We snuggled in our sleeping bags and waited for night to come. We were far from town, so we saw no lights in the distance, no airplanes, no sounds, just stars, thousands and millions and billions of stars. I felt like I was in outer space, part of the universe, floating among the stars. Some people would call this vast, mysterious universe that we're all in a part of God. Some would not. Would you? Here's another way that you could think about God, or not. One part is love and goodness. Here's someone who says, my family and I had just moved to the most awesome house on the beach when a hurricane hit. We had to get away as fast as we could. When we returned, we didn't even recognize our new home. But people came from all over and helped us clean up. Total strangers helped us dig out of the mud and sand and find what belongings we could. Some people would call the spirit of love and the power of goodness God. Some would not. Would you? And here's the last one. Here's someone who's sleeping in a hammock. And look, I don't know if you can see it. There's kind of like a spider web kind of above them. And they're not caught in the spider web. That's probably a Halloween story. That one's probably coming up. But anyway. Here's someone who says, I was stuck at my Aunt Sally's for the afternoon. No friends, no internet, no TV. I was ready to be bored. And I lay down in her worn out old hammock. A spider scurried into view and began repairing a web that was hanging between 2 trees right next to me. I was hypnotized. The afternoon went by and I didn't even notice. I was lost in the beautiful world that hung above my head. Some people would call the beauty of nature God. Some would not. Would you? The end.
As we do each week, I'm going to be lighting a second flame from our main flame as we send the children out. I'll invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing the children out and send them with our flame. Each month we share our offering plate with a community partner, and this month that partner is the Southfield Emergency Needs Fund, which offers services and opportunities to promote personal growth, independence, dignity, and respect for the citizens of Southfield. As always, all undesignated donations will be split between this congregation and our partner. You can give virtually by a link in the Zoom chat or by the QR code on the back of your order of service. And I want to emphasize that no matter what you bring to this church, no matter your contributions, be it funds or time or simply the generous presence of your spirit, know that we are so grateful for your gifts. So let's sink into gratitude together. I'll invite you to join me in blessing this offering by reading aloud the words of dedication which are written in your order of service. With me, we'll say, "To the work of creating beloved community within and beyond these walls, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings."
We come out of a moment of silence to a meditation on God and prayer by Rabbi Ari Lev Fornari. God, we are here, and by God, I mean light. And by light, I mean kindness. And by kindness, I mean unconditional love. And by unconditional love, I mean that spark of holiness in each of us. And by spark, I mean breath. Source of all that is, you are more names than we can think of. We will do our best to find the words that feel true and give you the benefit of the doubt, especially since we are asking you to do the same for us.
And please rise in body and spirit as we sing number 286, A Core of Silence.
This is another one that's a little funky, but I think we can do it. We're gonna split into two parts for this song. If you identify with a higher voice part, you can sing the top melody. If you identify with and Maddie, she'll be leading the top melody. If you identify with a lower voice part, you can join me on the second melody. This is a little bit different because it starts 2 beats after them. Our words are behind us. So rather than singing the words that would be above the note, you're still singing the words of the melody with the melody, if that makes sense. So we're the melody line, "A core of silence, squeeze beyond the counter melody waits 2 beats and then joins in with a chord of silence breathes beyond all words. Does that make sense? I think we can handle this. We're gonna go a lot slower than that though, because this is a good contemplative song, and all the words need the full weight. A chord of silence breathes beyond all words, or else the words have little worth. To heart or soul or spirit it comes forth. The words we name them matter not. And half the music lies within the pause, between the arches of the heart. The print upon the page means less than ink, unless the white and black both speak. The true religion gathers up its text. In the beginning was the Word, but I seek quietness beyond that start, and name it nothing much less God.
Beautiful. That's one of my all-time favorites in the hymnal. It's so delightfully agnostic. We don't have many agnostic hymns. Really glad we got to celebrate it today. And like, it's so much wisdom. It's like basically what I want to say in my sermon. However, I think there's an even better way to boil it down. It's a common metaphor in Zen Buddhism, and it goes like this. I am a finger pointing to the moon. Don't look at me. Look at the moon. I love it. We could use more of it all of the time. Language is the finger, and that great unnameable, unknowable force that governs our lives, the grand mystery of our entire existence, the things that get us out of bed every morning, committing every day to more deeply love each other and this place. That's the moon. So just don't look at the finger, look at the moon. It's that simple. Bam, homily over. Blessed be an amen. I'm out, right? Yeah, it's that easy. Well, I know I joke, but I actually feel like people kind of talk in that flippant way sometimes. Sometimes we get caught up in words, and I hear people say something to the effect of like, it's just words, get over it. And like, I think there's some truth there. It's really true that words are like a wholly inadequate way of capturing anything we're trying to describe, let alone God or the divine mystery. So let's not miss the forest for the trees. But I also don't want us to discount the power that words hold. Because for each of us, words are not just words. I know so many of us found a home in this tradition because of our really beautiful, expansive language. Each week, we sing the living tradition, and we sustain that life in large part by all the words we reimagined and all the ideas we reshaped. I know I'm not alone. When I first came to this church, I was so deeply moved by our hymns, full of a language that was open enough and flexible enough and free enough for me to finally feel at home. Words could save us. And I also know I'm not the only person here who came here because of the words we don't use. I know that I'm not the only one who came here running from words from other churches that limited me or alienated me or even deeply harmed me. So I want us to also acknowledge that words can hold deep power over us. You should know that I'm in partnership with a very devoted Episcopalian. We joke that we're an interfaith couple. We always say that we're like on the opposite ends of the Protestant spectrum, and like in a way that's true, and we definitely have some different words, let me tell you. When we first started dating, she told me about how much she loves the Lord's Prayer. And immediately I was thrusted into my memories of that prayer, bowing my head in fear and obedience, desperately trying to be loved by a God that I felt like I was never enough for. And as we navigated these faiths together, I got intimate with the words that hurt me the most. How a certain talk of sin would thrust me deep into my shame. How the 10 Commandments just felt like the top of a long list of my greatest failures. How the Father frankly felt like a terrible parent, and the kingdom of God just another oppressive force trying to keep me small and powerless. Of course, there's Jesus, bearer of that divine love that was allegedly made for me, but only if I believed the right way or did the right things. Christ, this Prince of conditional love. And so we kept doing these words off of each other, and I kept having these things unearth, these old wounds, and they would get inflamed, and I did something that so much of us do when we're hurt. I harden off, I sharpen, I blame, I look for something outside of myself to explain all of the hurt that I'm feeling, even when that thing is no longer in front of me. Meanwhile, my partner was doing the exact opposite. When she was sharing these things, she was sharing her softest, most vulnerable self, the words and tradition that saved her, lifted her up, buoyed her through an ocean of pain, and fed her hope in this hopeless world. But so often I couldn't see it that way. The wounds that were carried by certain words were too loud for me to really hear what she was saying, so instead my sharpness got too close to her softness, and again, we hurt each other. Thankfully, we're both devoted servants of grace, which, by the way, grace was always one of my favorite Christian words. But we found grace, and we found a way to forgive, and we found a way to begin again in love. Begin again in a love that I felt like I had such a hard time accessing so many years ago when I was so much more wounded. And in that love, I started to soften. I loosened my ego. I started to see a little clearer, saw behind my bitterness to the tender wounds beneath, saw behind my anger to the small child desperately aching to be loved. I saw behind my shame to that anger I should have been feeling. I mean the righteous rage towards the right things, the lies I was fed, the systems that actually tried to make me small and powerless. And I started to be empowered. And I started to hear those words differently too. How sin was not an unforgivable crime sentencing me to eternal death, but rather just harm asking to be mended. How the Father could be a synonym for all the things that sustain us, be it the earth or love or life itself. How the kingdom of God was not some oppressive force, but rather the great liberator, the forces of peace and justice that are ultimately more powerful than any worldly kingdom or corporation. And the biggest revelation for me was learning that when we were saying we are not worthy of Christ's love, we were not saying we were worthless. We're simply saying we don't have to do anything to earn it. We're affirming that unconditional love is not only possible, it is here and now and available to every single soul. And I felt a different way with these words, but it wasn't every day. I still struggle with this language. It still holds wounds, but I'm really grateful to say it doesn't hold the power over me that it once held. That even some days those pains were still immense, but it was bearable, and I had the incredible gift of the opportunity to transmute that pain into healing. Now let me be clear, I'm not insisting that you do any of this. I'm not insisting that you use this language. I'm not insisting that you have my path. You're your own human, you have your own path. But I do want to share this story as a reminder that when we're so often speaking with using different words, we're still talking about or pointing to the same things. And I also share this story as a cautionary tale about how much we can hurt each other when we assume the worst in each other's language. And I share it to demonstrate how much there is to be gained personally when we heal our relationship with the words and ideas that hurt us the most. So I want to challenge us all to get intimate with the power that language holds in our lives. Remember how personal and deep words can be. Remember that when you wholesale reject someone else's language, you run the risk of rejecting the person too. Let's make sure we're that big, beloved community we always claim to be. And I'm also asking you to examine what words might still be hurting. What words stir up in you bitterness, anger, judgment, fear, resentment? what unresolved tensions might lie beneath. What might be possible if you were in better relationship with this language? And for those of us who are still in the pain of our old open wounds, know that you are not alone. Know that in this room you are surrounded by people who know that pain and know it is not forever. Your broken heart is welcome and wanted here. I know there are days when that pointed finger will feel like a chokehold around your throat, and know you can always tell me how much that hurts. And know that a world beyond that pain is possible as long as we all commit to build it together. Now I want to leave you with a prayer. This prayer was written by a group of Indigenous New Zealanders, and it's published in their Book of Common Prayer. It's also a reworked version of that old prayer, I used to be afraid of, but whose new expansive language created so much room for me to finally see the moon that the prayer was always pointing towards. As I say this prayer, I ask you to be open to these words. Please take with you what resonates and leave behind what doesn't. Eternal Spirit, Earth Maker, Pain Bearer, Life Giver, Source of all that is and all that shall be, Father and Mother of us all, loving God in whom is heaven. The hallowing of your name echo through the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the world. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope and come on earth. For the bread we need for today, feed us. And the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In times of temptation and test, strengthen us. And from the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in the glory and the power that is love, now and forever. Amen. And pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So, the challenging thing not always a miracle, but lying where there isn't one. Holy water was a rare at best. It barely wet my fingertips. But now I gotta hold my breath 'cause I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face to say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come to say it's not a sacrament. I'd argue that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. He made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. It used to be a world half fair, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now.
Thank you, Maddie. I think the point has been made at least a couple times in this service that one of the challenging aspects of being UUs is that we don't have a common spiritual vocabulary. We come from different faith traditions and no faith traditions. Some of us are generational UUs, and others have left religions that no longer felt like a fit or that had actually caused them harm. We are a pretty eclectic bunch, and we often find it easier to define what we are not than what we are. But we must have something that holds us together, right? We are a religion after all, and the root word for religion is religare, which means to bind together again. But what binds us together? One of our foremost 20th century UU theologians, James Luther Adams, described what he called the 5 smooth stones of liberal faith in a long essay, Guiding Principles to a Free Faith, published in 1976. Adams was a mid-20th century Harvard Divinity School professor, so he used a lot of words. And I'm going to share them with you in a very abbreviated manner. And we actually have smooth stones here. The first stone is that we are always open to new truths, and we each have the potential to be a prophet. So we're calling that stone New Truths. The second stone, all relations between people should rely on mutual free consent. So big surprise, I've labeled this one mutuality. The third one is that religious liberals must work toward creating a just and loving community. This is the stone of justice. The fourth one, good things don't just happen. Humans have to make them happen. So this stone represents our individual and collective agency. The fifth stone is that the resources, both divine and human, available to achieve meaningful change justify optimism. This is the stone of hope. So these 5 stones remind us what binds us together, but they don't help much with the issue that our beliefs are so varied that we don't use the same words. and that complicates things. This summer, I attended General Assembly and spent my mornings there in workshops about creating meaningful worship. The speakers began by sharing the standard stuff, you know. This is what we're going to accomplish today. That's where the water fountains and the restrooms are. But then they said something like, our time here is limited, so we're not going to debate terminology. If you encounter language that doesn't resonate with you, just substitute the source of your faith. If someone says God, and your equivalent is justice or nature, then think justice or nature so you can hear the idea without getting tangled in the words. Know that our intention is to include your belief structure. As someone whose theology might be summed up, shouldn't a God know better than to create a world with so much tragedy and equity? I've done that kind of mental shifting for a long time. I think maybe that's why the song that Maddie just sang resonates so deeply with me. And I have often wondered, sitting in these chairs, what the people sitting around me really believed, and how fascinating it would be to learn what each of us relies on to make sense of the world and what language is meaningful to each of us. But what if we could visualize that? Today we're going to find out. We are going to pass out some smooth stones. Jan and Cherie, if you would do that. And ask each of you to write a word or two on a stone, describing what is at the center of your personal beliefs. Some examples in alphabetical order are compassion, God, love, mystery, nature, rational thought, science, or something completely unique to you. The rocks aren't very big, so they can only accommodate 1 or 2 words. Choose wisely. When you're done, but before you start writing, I have a little tip, but when you're done, bring them up to the table in front of the pulpit so we all have the opportunity to see and appreciate our spiritual diversity. If you're online and share a word in the chat, we'll write it on a rock for you and add it to your collection, to the collection. When you've finished writing on your stone, please come up and place it on the table. And if you see somebody nearby who needs assistance, offer it. Now, my one hint for you is that there are 2 tips on each of your paint pens. Do not use the one that says brush, because it's just gonna brush. Use the one that says bullet tip. So now Alex is going to play while we think about what one word is at the center of our belief system.
Seriously, look at this. We've got life, hope, agency, science, connection, taproot. I love taproot. Care, spirit of all things. We are God. Now, y'all might know we have a hymn in our hymnal called Bring Many Names. But when you go through it, there's only one name, and that name is God. So we're going to try and fix it today. In singing number 23, Bring Many Names, we're going to be taking the word God, and we're going to invite you to put in whatever word you feel is good. And already being here, I can see some really good poetry. Old, aching earth, young, growing life. There's so many beautiful things we could put instead of God. It does not have to match. It's going to be a gorgeous tapestry of all of our different faiths joining together. So please rise in body and spirit as we begin to sing Bring Many Names, and we bring so many more names than the original writer of this hymn could ever dream of. Yes, there's a new verse at the end. Watch the slides. We're doing 7 verses, so get ready to use those names.
Get ready, it's a long haul. Bring many names, beautiful and good, celebrate in parable and story, holiness in glory, living, loving God. Hail and Hosanna, bring many names. Strong Mother Earth, working night and day, planning all the wonders of creation, setting each equation, genius at play. Hail and Hosanna, strong Mother Earth, warm Mother Earth, hugging every child, feeling all the strength of human living, caring and forgiving, ever reconciled. Hail and Hosanna, strong Mother Earth, old aching humanity, gray with endless care, calmly piercing evil's new disguises, glad of new surprises, wiser than despair. Hail and Hosanna, old aching humanity, young growing God, eager still to know, willing to be changed by what you started, quick to be delighted, singing as you go. Hail and Hosanna, young growing God, glory living God that's never fully known. Look through darkness far beyond our seeing, closer yet than breathing, everlasting hope. Hail and Hosanna, great living Goddess, ineffable, greater than our world. Amplify by His name we've given, clarify our vision, let each name be heard. Hail and Hosanna, bring many names.
Folks, I'll invite you to stay standing and turn towards one another. This is a moment to be connected with everyone in this room. If you feel called to reach out and hold hands, feel free, or you can put your hand on your heart, however the Spirit moves. Please witness each other and the beloved community we're creating. And please join me in singing our final refrain. We are whole, we are holy, we are holding one another. Beautiful. And as we extinguish this flame, we're going to say the words we do each week. So please repeat after me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of hope.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of hope.
The warmth of community,
The warmth of community,
nor the fire of commitment.
nor the fire of commitment.
These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
These we carry in our hearts until we are together.
And let us sing. We are whole, we are holy, we are holding one another. And before we go out today, folks, I want to invite us to hold each other in our many ways of seeing the world and our many words to capture the world with space and grace. All the times when you disagree, may that be for a time for you to open. And all the times that you are hurt, may you find the hands that are reaching out for you to help you move through that language. May we together find a shared language that is deeper than any word that could come out of our mouths. May we walk into this room knowing that we are among the company of people who know how to live and know how to be. May it be so. We are whole. We are holy. We are holding one another. Blessed be and amen. Go enjoy the sacrament of coffee.